Jets, what is going on, Jet fans? Jets Ward, back with you guys. I'm so excited to be back with you guys in the Jets Ward. I got a fun one for you guys in this episode, but first, if you have been here before, thank you so much for joining me. I always love having you guys here. It makes me so excited that you just want to keep coming back in the Jets Ward and have this fun time that we always have. And if you are new here, welcome. Thank you for joining me. And no matter if you're a Jet fan or a fan of another team, you are always welcome here in the Jets Ward. We always love having new people, even if you're not an NFL fan, but just love watching games as a casual fan. You are always welcome here. This is a safe space for you guys. But I am going to carry on with something that I've been doing for a while now. And as we know, it is draft month. The NFL draft is coming up in a couple weeks, and I am so excited to finally see these young prospects get the shine that they deserve and to figure out where these teams are going and to build out these rosters for our teams. Not just my Jets. I love my Jets, and I'm excited to see where they go. There's been a lot of rumors about them lately, but just for these other players too. They've worked their butts off to get here, and I'm just so pumped for them to see that their dreams are actually going to come true for them, whether they're drafted in the first round or later rounds. Even players who end up not getting drafted, they still have a chance to make teams and be impact players. And the great thing is, today, I'm focusing on those later round players. I've done a first round. I've done a second and third round video of players to watch. I've done a fourth, fifth, and sixth round for players to watch. And today, we get into the biggest swings of the draft, those seventh round picks. And whether your team has a seventh round pick or not, currently my Jets do not have a seventh round pick, but anything could happen when it comes to trades. But I'm going to show off these players that I think can make an impact on their teams in some way, shape, or form. Some of these players you might know. Some of these players you might have never heard of before. But that is why I'm here, to give you insight on these players and to give you some information on players you probably haven't heard of, or even more information on players you have heard of before, who just might not be getting as much shine as they deserve. Now, before I get into it, I am going to be going live the first night of the NFL draft, so please join me. I would love to have you guys there just to talk about what you think, how the draft is going to go, which player you want for your team, and so on and so forth. It's going to be a fun time. If it goes really well, I will be going live for night 2 as well, and if it goes really well that night, I'll be going live the next day as well for the entirety of the last couple rounds of the draft. Man, I'm loving this season so far. But getting into it today, I'm going to get to my players that I think you guys need to watch out for, people that I'm excited for, and some you might have heard of before. And the first one that I'm going to get to is this guy who Jets fans, I know you probably have heard of and you are excited for because his father played for the New York Jets. This is RJ Mickens, safety from Clemson. Now, there have been a lot of reports that he might go a lot higher. He might be a 5th round pick. I've seen some in the 4th round picking him, 6th round, 7th round. I've seen him going undrafted at some points, which is shocking to me because this guy has so much talent to him. He is 6 foot, 199 pounds. He is a tall, lengthy guy and somebody who is not afraid to get down there and tackle. Now, he is a lighter frame, so bigger tight ends could be a struggle for him to bring down. But honestly, I think this kid's got so much talent. And the reason he's falling this far for me is the safety class, honestly, is just so strong. A lot of these defensive players that are down here that I'm going to name, it's just because their position that they play for is just so strong in this draft. And RJ Mickens is a very, very talented kid. Came from a big college of Clemson where they normally pump out a lot of great players there. And RJ Mickens, I think, just falls into a strong safety class. And that's why I see him ending up going to the 7th round, possibly 6th round. But team fits that I think he could fit with. Obviously, his father was a Jet. I'm going to pick the Jets. The Jets still have a big need for safety. And you put him next to Andre Cisco, man, it could be a fun, young backfield for the Jets of having Brandon Stevens, Ahmad Sauce Gardner, having RJ Mickens back there, and even Andre Cisco. And you got Michael Carter II as well back there, having a young, hungry, solid secondary that could be great for years to come. Honestly, if RJ Mickens is the player that I think he's going to, I think he's going to surprise a lot of players. I think he is a diamond in the rough in the safety class, and I think he could be really, really good, and I think he can bring a lot of tenacity and toughness to any defense that he goes to. And I say the Jets have a big, big need at safety, and I think RJ Mickens can fill that hole. Does he start right away? I'm not sure, but honestly, I think he could end up being a solid starter in this league. Another team that I see, the Browns. Browns secondary, pretty good, but they always need help and role players to fill in because the Browns tend to get injured on defense as well, especially in that secondary. And I think RJ Mickens could go to Cleveland and be a solid rotational piece or end up being a starter on that defense for years to come as well. And I think he could fit that type of defense, especially they're going to have a good amount of pass rushers. And I think Abdul Carter ends up going there as well. And having a type of great pass rush that they will have, you need ball hawks in your secondary. And I think RJ Mickens can be that type of safety for them. Can make a lot of great plays, can make open field tackles, knows where the ball is at all times. I think he could be very, very solid for the Cleveland Browns. And another team, Buffalo Bills. Buffalo does not have a ton of weaknesses. And I hate to say it because we're in their division, but I want to give Buffalo their credit too. And they have dominated the AFC East for a while now. And it's because of their quarterback, Josh Allen, who's elite. They also got a solid receiving core. They still need a number one receiver in my eyes to help Josh Allen out, but they have good complementary pieces and know how to use them. Defense was probably their weakest spot, and their defense wasn't even actually that bad. They need a bigger guy on the defensive line. They need some bulk on that defensive line, but they also need secondary help. And RJ Mickens, I think, can go to Buffalo and be a solid contributor for the Buffalo Bills in that safety room. Honestly, I think he could go in and help them right away. Other teams, maybe New England, maybe Seattle as well, he could go to and be really good. The Raiders as well, I think, could definitely use a player of his caliber. He could fit on a lot of different teams, but the best fits for me are the Jets, the Browns, and the Bills. Now, continuing on to the next player, I got a fan favorite. Ever since Florida's Pro Day, this guy's name has been popping up so much. He is Desmond Watson, defensive tackle from Florida. And I've seen him going undrafted. A lot of people consider him to be an undrafted prospect. You can't teach this size. He's 6'6", 464 pounds. He is a behemoth of a man, a monster of a man, and you can't teach that size. I really consider him to be like a Vince Wilfork type of player with that size. And a lot of players, a lot of guys, you don't know. At his size, at his pro day, he ran a 5'9". A man of that size, 6'6", 464 pounds, should not run that fast. But he was moving. And he's just got a lot of power. He doesn't have any behavioral issues. But just that size, a lot of people are worried. He's going to be if drafted, he's going to be the heaviest person in the NFL in history. So there's a lot of concerns with the weight. Can he get it down? Can he lose a good amount of weight? Honestly, you plug him in to a defensive line, he's going to take 2 blocks to be able to move him. There's not going to be a lot of players who are able to move this guy, and he's going to be able to clog up holes. And he could be a first and second down run-stuffing defensive tackle and just somebody who's got power and size to help out any defensive line, especially if your number one defensive tackle is a speed rushing guy. Like 49ers, they need more help on that defensive line. They need somebody like a Desmond Watson on that defensive line to help out their edge rushers, Nick Bosa and others on that defensive line. You got a young guy like this in the later rounds, he could be an enormous playmaker for you on those first downs. Could make it tough as heck to run on your defense, which the Niners struggled with run defense last year. And this player could come in, Watson could come in and be a solid contributor for the Niners. Cowboys as well. They lost one of their big defensive tackles, replaced him with an even bigger individual. And again, Dallas's issue last year, run defense, run defense, run defense. That defense, that team was built to have a lead, to have Micah Parsons go after, pin their ears back, and go after the quarterback. Problem was, they didn't have a ton of leads last year, and they were down really quickly. And it was so easy to run on the Cowboys. Just gash them, run out the clock, and you beat them. This guy would stop that right away. Does he start right away? I'm not sure. If he loses a little bit of weight, maybe. But again, at that size, nobody's going to be able to move this kid. He's going to take up two blocks at all times. Honestly, he just needs to keep his pad level down and stay low and use that muscle and that speed that this kid's got. And I think he could be a monster. And the last team that I have that could be a big fit for him, the New York Jets. What was the Jets' biggest need on defense last year? A run-stuffing defensive tackle. This kid could be that guy. And I've been going off on a lot of different defensive tackles in this offseason so far. I think the Jets have been adding a good amount of pieces, but adding a young guy like this too, with that muscle and that size, could be so beneficial for a guy like Quinnen Williams and Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald and whatever edge rusher, Junior Ivy possibly coming in on the Jets as well from Ole Miss. I think adding those two young players, especially Desmond Watson, as a late round swing could be amazing, amazing, amazing for the New York Jets. Where do I see him going? Honestly, I could definitely see this kid getting picked up in the 6th or 7th round by the Dallas Cowboys. I think he just fits them so perfectly. They want to fix the run defense. You get a guy of this size. And I think Jerry Jones would just be a fool not to be interested in a player like this. And moving on to the next one, we got Xavier Truss, offensive tackle from Georgia. He is 6'7", 309 pounds. And you're probably saying, Ryan, at that size, why is he not higher on people's draft boards? Well, the biggest issue with Xavier Truss, one is injuries, but another is he's very tall for his position, which you always want taller defensive tackles. His pad level is really high, and he struggles against speed rushers. So this guy could come in as a swing tackle and add some extra pass blocking, but he still struggles with pass blocking. Not the best run blocker as well, and that's why he falls down to this. It's a lot of his technique that he struggles with. And the biggest thing, I think he can work out those kinks, start out as depth, pipeline player. This is when you take those late round swings on offensive linemen. Pipeline player, I think if he gets a lot of work in and gets in a great system to help him, he could turn out to be a solid late round gem, be a rotational offensive lineman to maybe later down the road starting. Swing tackle to start, maybe like a George Fant type of player. I think that could be great. When the Jets signed George Fant, he was a swing tackle for the Seahawks. Nobody expected him to come in and be good. And he was just that at left tackle. He was solid for the Jets for many years. And we moved him to right tackle when Mekhi Becton came in. And he was solid. Xavier Truss could be similar. Give him a couple of years. Let him work on his mechanics and his techniques. And I think he can get better and better. And again, you can't teach size. And he's 6'7". He's a big, big guy, as you definitely can see from this picture here. And team fits. Jets. Another big need for the Jets is offensive tackle. I honestly think we go tackle in the first round. As you guys know, Josh Simmons is my favorite recipient at the lineman position. At tackle, I think he's the best tackle in the draft, especially if healthy. Armand Mambu, the Jets might go after. Will Campbell has been a name passed around as well. Josh Connerly. But if the Jets do draft tackle, it's never a bad idea to double dip as well and take another one for a pipeline player. So Xavier Truss could be a pipeline player for a lot of teams, especially my Jets. Dolphins. They just had a big name tackle retire. And they have Paul who can come in and play left tackle. But again, you need rotational pieces. What position gets injured the most on on a team, offensive line, because they're making contact every single play. And it's always common for an offensive lineman to get rolled up on, especially in different piles. So you need players who can come in and provide for you, make spot starts. And Xavier Truss, I think, can do that, especially working in the right type of system. And so Dolphins I see as a big pick or a big fit for him. And I feel like I brought these guys up for any type of offensive line help. Texans. They gashed their offensive line this year by trading Laramie Tunsil and other pieces away and got rid of a lot of pieces on their offensive line and replaced them with okay players. But again, getting up in the young pipeline type of tackle, especially Xavier Truss, or you can even move him into guard if needed. Look at Mekhi Becton. He ended up becoming a solid guard, world Super Bowl champion. Now he's moving to guard for the Chargers as well, where he got signed. Xavier Truss can do the same, but it's a pipeline player. It's somebody who can grow to be much, much better. And Xavier Truss, where do I think he fits? Or where do I think he ends up? I think he ends up with – I think the Dolphins take a shot. They need more lineman help. I think taking him would give them more pipeline players, and I think could be very, very solid. Moves well for his size as well. So the Dolphins, I think, end up with Xavier Truss. Going on to the next one, a Jets fan favorite, honestly. Luke Lachey, tight end from Iowa. I see him fall into the 7th round. I've seen him going in the 6th and 5th as well. I project him to go to the 7th. Again, he's a victim of a very, very strong tight ends class. There are so many tight ends better than him in this draft. And he's a solid player, doesn't block very well, decent receiver, could use a lot of work, could be a second tight end on different units and everything. Could sit behind a lot of players and gain some more knowledge. He reminds me of like a perfect fit. Could be with the Chiefs, and that's who I have up here as well. Sit behind Travis Kelce for a year or two. Maybe he can become something. He's very athletic for his size. He's 6'6", 251. Could become a solid starter later down the road. You never know with these late round swings. They could become great, or they could be just rotational pieces. You never know. That's why 7th round picks and 6th round picks and maybe even 5th rounds are always so fun to me, because you never know what they could be. Look at Brock Purdy for the Niners. It was a 7th round pick and looking at a monster contract for him now. But team fits, like I said, the Chiefs. I see them being able to utilize this guy's skill set as well. The Rams, Sean McVay, if you go to any team, I think he can make any player work. And Luke Lachey seems like a Rams type of player. Solid, athletic, speedy for his size. And Broncos. Broncos need tight end help too. I think they go Loveland in the 1st round if he is there at their position, just to take him away from the Chargers. But they also need tight end help. And it's not always a bad idea to double dip when it comes to tight end as well. So I see the Broncos taking him. But the team I see really, really taking him where he ends up is the Rams. I think the Rams just seems like a perfect fit. And I think Matthew Stafford would be able to utilize his skill set. And I think Sean McVay would be able to utilize him in a lot of ways as well. So Luke Lachey, I think, ends up going in the 7th round to the Rams. Don't know if they have a 7th round pick at the top of my head. If they do, I think he ends up going there. And again, even if they don't, they could always trade back in the 7th round. But these are the teams that I see him fitting with the best. Now, I bring to you guys the other Sanders child, Shiloh Sanders. Honestly, this kid hasn't been talked about. I think he's very underrated as a safety. The thing that hurts him, he could go much, much higher. Didn't run the fastest 40 at his pro day, but the kid's a thumper at safety. And the biggest reason he falls to the 7th round for me, he is injured a lot of the time. And that's a big concern for a lot of teams. If you're injured in college, you're more likely going to be injured in the pros as well. But he comes in with good size, 6 foot, 195 pounds, not afraid to tackle. He has a nose for the ball as well. Always seems to be around the ball. Did not have the best East-West Shrine Bowl practices in game. But honestly, I think he could come in and be a sneaky good safety in the NFL. Teams I see him fitting with, the Jets again. safety help. We need safety help. Now, a lot of people will why bring in the circus when you bring in Sanders? You're going to have to deal with his father. I don't think AG would really deal with that kind of stuff. And him and Dion are friends. So if Shiloh comes in, I think Dion would have a lot of respect for our coaching staff, especially AG, and bringing in a safety, a defensive back with Wilkes and AG there on our team. They were defensive backs, so they'll be able to work with this kid and get him right in the NFL. Other team, Bucks, they just lost Jordan Whitehead. They could always bring in a type of player like Shiloh Sanders, who I mock. I think he's basically like a Jordan Whitehead type of player. Not afraid to tackle, seems to be around the ball at all times. I could definitely see him going to the Bucks as well. And the Seahawks. They need another safety. They need more defensive back help. That was the weakness of their defense last year, their safeties. And I see Sanders fitting there really, really well. Buffalo, you could bring up again. Where do I see him fitting the best? Honestly, I don't think a lot of Jets fans are going to like this. But if we don't go RJ Mickens, I really think the Jets should take a shot on Shiloh Sanders. I honestly think he could be a late round steal. And that's why I'm bringing up all these guys. I honestly think they could be very, very good. And there's a lot of people I'm leaving off this list that I honestly think could be very good as well. And you guys might have ideas for late round picks that you guys think could be steals. I'm just showing you my opinions. They might go higher. They might go undrafted. That's my opinion. I think they go in the 7th round. And I think that's where they fit. But they could be steals. They could be gems, in my opinion. You might disagree completely, and that's your opinion, guys. Honestly, I'd love to hear your opinion on some players that you think I missed out on. But Shiloh Sanders, I think the best team fit would be the Jets. And lastly, Dom C, if he's watching, I know you say never draft a kicker, but there are 2 kickers in this draft class that I think are worthy of a look at draft picks. And there are some teams that need kickers. And this kid I've been watching for a while now, and his name's popped up many times, in my opinion, and this kid's underrated, in my opinion. Andres Borregales, kicker from Miami. He's 5'11", 199 pounds. I think this kid could come in, get drafted, and start for a number of teams. The Jets being one of them. The Jets need a kicker. We've brought in a couple of kickers. Greg Zuerlein is still on the team. I don't think he makes the roster after last year. I think the Jets end up cutting him later after the draft. Andres Borregales, I would not mind a late round swing on a kicker if the Jets do trade back in the 7th. Borregales is a solid kicker. Solid leg, can kick from deep, is basically sure-footed when he's in the 30 range, 40 range, sure-footed. It reminds me a lot of a Chris Boswell type of kicker. Just very, very automatic and can kick 50-yarders as well. Not the strongest leg in the draft, but honestly could be a solid pick for the Jets if they were to decide to trade back into the 7th and decide to go for a kicker. It is a big need, and kickers win games. Look at the Jets last year. We lost a lot of our games last year because of our kicker missing field goals or extra points. It's a big aspect of the game, and if you want to win on offense, defense, special teams, you need to have yourself a kicker. And Andres Borregales, I think, is the best one in this class. Take the best position at a need. Kicker is one of them, in my opinion, for the Jets. And Borregales, I think, would come in and be the day 1 starter. What other teams that I think? Ravens. Now, the Ravens had with their kicker last year, oh man, was the best one in the league and then fell off. We know that he had all of these, and his name is slipping my mind right now. So I apologize, Ravens fans. But he had a lot of legal allegations as well, just as bad as like a Deshaun Watson type of scandal. And man, it's rough for the Ravens right now, and they're in need of a kicker. Borregales could come in and be their day 1 starter and be young and could be there for a long time for the Ravens. 49ers as well. Jake Moody was not great. And I think the Niners need a reliable kicker. Any team needs a reliable kicker, right? And Borregales, I think, can be a reliable kicker for any team that he's drafted to or any team that signs him as an undrafted free agent. I think he ends up getting drafted. He's just too much talent to not. And as a late round swing, get the best one in the draft. So these are my players that I think are players to watch in the draft. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm going to be going live night 1 of the draft. Please join me. I would love to have you guys there and to just talk with you guys about anything. Let me know. Please join me on night 1 of the NFL draft. I'm going to go live. Well, come on into the Jets Ward that night and show up to other people's. If you don't come to mine, show up. I know Jets Talk, Ryan, Matt, and Green Bean are going to be doing their draft party as well. Show up to theirs. There's going to be a lot of draft parties. I would love to have you in mind, but if you don't, go to theirs. They do great work on their channel as well. And again, guys, thank you so much for joining me in the Jets.